Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 6 of the AEL Amateur Weekly Cup here in Australia. We have two non-Australian teams, which is always good fun. They're pretty good though, so hopefully we're in for a good game. My name is Coldblood, and joining me for this best of 3 series is Damika. How are you?
10 seconds to go.
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good, Coldblood. It has been a while since I've been in the Dota 2 scene, especially casting, so I'm a
Been
little
shooting
nervous.
the terrorists.
I've been pew-pewing people
Or blowing the CTs up,
blowing people up.
depending how RNGesus feels. Alright, well, I'm glad to have you here with me, buddy. So, immediately we can see the Bristleback, the Timbersaw, the Ember Spirit, and the Death Prophet have been banned out. All of these very regular bans. The offlaners have been... Clockwork's fallen out of favour in terms of bans. He's picked up a lot, but people aren't too scared of him, because you can shut him down, and if he jumps in and instantly dies, he's not that much of a threat. But the Bristle Timbersaw definitely is worth banning out. And then the Ember Spirit Death Prophet. DCC really did not want that in the mid lane, and now we can see why.
Yeah, no, I have heard he's been absolutely brutal. He was actually a hero that came in just after I stopped sort of playing the Dota 2 scene, and I'm sort of glad that I did, because from the curses and the yelling of my housemates, I I don't think he's much fun to play. But we're seeing pretty standard picks, I think, from the Dream Team taking up the Visage, which is always a fantastic hero pick for your supports. And of course Puck. We all know how deadly Puck can be in the hands of a pro.
Yeah, silencing the Invoker going to be an absolute boon. And then Invoker really loves to sit mid at the moment. There's a very popular Wex Quas build where he does a lot of control with the Tornado, the EMP and whatnot, moves really, really fast with his phase boots, but Puck will just jump on him and murder him and then go around and do the same to his team. So I love that pickup. It's interesting though, Dom, so far in the AWC, players have preferred to pick up both of their supports first and the offlaners and leave the mids and carries till last. So both of these being snatched up right away, unless of course the Invoker goes in the safe lane, but for now we'll assume he is mid. So, I mean, we've got a support on each side. Visage, like you mentioned, very strong support, can steal attack speed and move speed for himself, can nuke people with the Soul Assumption, can scout around with the Familiars, and that information will be very useful for the Puck. And then Invoker loves the global mana regen from the Crystal Maiden. And interesting, now the Tinker's been banned out.
Yeah, it is interesting. Maybe we'll see a Clockwork pick up here. I usually love seeing Clockwork. Tinker, Clockwork, or Timbersaw. Probably 3 heroes that I generally assume are going to be picked up in a game. Like, they're just absolutely amazing. So perhaps Clockwork is going to be their choice instead. And now, as a person who hasn't been keeping in touch with the scene, naughty me, these two teams, you were telling me a little bit earlier, that we're actually looking at the number 1 and number 3 team of Group A for the Amateur Weekly Cup.
Yeah, the Vietnamese Dream Team up the top on Dire. They're 5-0-0. I cast them last night. It was very dominant. And then in loving memory of DCC, who is an ex-member of their team, they're 4 wins and 1 loss. So both teams doing very well, and now they're going to clash heads. There was talk in the lobby of VDT needing to take it easy, which after seeing them last night, I wouldn't blame the Radiant team for saying they are very strong, particularly with their Bounty Hunter, and he hasn't been banned out, so I'm wondering if he's going to get picked up. The Bounty Hunter was an absolute terror for the Vietnamese guys.
Who plays that one? Who's their Bounty Hunter player?
Oh, it was Toki, who doesn't look like he's playing, so maybe never mind.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask, who is the stand-in for the VDT? But there we go. So we've got a Vengeful Spirit pickup here for Vietnamese Dream Team. That's going to kind of finish out their lineup there for their support / semi-support. Vengeful Spirit, great pickup with a very steady stun there, and has the ability to also be help with the roaming ganks as well as the support attributes.
No, definitely, yeah, increasing the physical damage, particularly if that person gets a bunch of bonus damage through Necromancy. I love the Earthshaker pickup because he is great at disengaging with the Fissure, and when you're against a Vengeful Spirit, you know they want to be aggressive and Visage more of the same, particularly since Magic Missile hits like a truck. that'll bring up the damage for Soul Assumption very quickly. So I do agree with the Earthshaker Crystal Maiden. They're good at disengaging. They can also force an engage in a pinch. Not as easy, but again, Earthshaker is a strength hero, loves the mana regen of the CM, or the Crystal Fiend, as some people have called her. Now, the Shadow Fiend, that can go mid, it also can go safe lane very easily, and we all know how strong a farmed Shadow Fiend is. So, wondering what the Radiant team are going to pick up here. They could opt for their off lane, or they could go for a carry, perhaps the lifesteal. Oh, they're going to go Phantom Assassin. First time I've seen her in a long time.
Yeah, you don't see Phantom Assassin come up too often simply because of the farm requirement. And, you know, she has a lot of escape ability with her blink, but it's not quite as efficient as you might see, say, on an Animage, a Phantom Lancer, you know, a Lifestealer. I mean, she needs to blink to something, which is, of course, can be detrimental. She doesn't have a stun, she's only got a slow, but give her some steady farm, get some items on her, and she's absolutely brutal.
Particularly if Iron Jesus is on her side.
Yeah, indeed.
She's certainly capable of taking on the Shadow Fiend and blowing him up if he doesn't get the Requiem of Souls.
Well, they've got plenty of crowd control here already. I mean, you've got the Crystal Maiden, you've got your Earthshaker for your stuns, your holds, of course the Invoker has so much to throw out there, depending on how he's going to build him. So the Phantom Assassin, I mean, doesn't really need to have anything but damage. It's just going to be brute force massacre. That's what they're going to go for.
Yes, certainly. So while they deliberate on their last picks, we've got some questions in the Twitch chat over who's casting. So my name is Coldblood from GameStar, and casting with me is Damika. She streams over at, if you can see it down the bottom, twitch.com/DamikaINO, all one word.
And I apologize in advance to everybody. Like I said, it's been a long time for me since I have been casting, or even within the Dota 2 scene, which, you know, I plan to rectify. I plan to get back in here, get playing, start relearning everything that I've forgotten while I've been running around with AKs and P90s and...
Okay, so you'll have to head on over to her Twitch, follow her, and see when she makes the big dazzle plays.
Come along and teach me how to play Dota 2. I always love when people have feedback, good or bad. And yes, my epic dazzle.
As long as it's
I will forever believe that dazzle is the best hero in the game, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. I don't care if every expert in the world disagrees with me.
Oh, my friend Mayor Arcana should certainly agree with you.
Oh, there we go.
Dazzle is boss.
It's done. Mayor said so.
Okay, so we've got the Luna pickup, which of course very strong later on. So the Vietnamese Dream Team, they definitely have the mid to late game power, even have early game power thanks to the puck. And then Vengeful Spirit, of course, her aura greatly going to increase the Shadow Fiend and the Luna's their damage output. But I'm wondering if the Shadow Fiend's going to go off lane at this point, and I don't know how safe he'd be.
I think the Shadow Fiend will be alright. I mean, he has the range capabilities, but it's also not a hero that you want to not get last hits on. I mean, he is capable of surviving, but you also don't want him underfarmed. And the possibility of, you know, Crystal Maiden and Earthshaker combo going up against him, that could be brutal. I mean, it depends on how they're going to play their lanes. I think Puck, Puck you usually see in mid. I mean, Puck's an amazing mid hero. But I actually wouldn't be opposed to seeing Puck in a side lane and Shadow Fiend taking the mid.
I was just thinking Puck would have a much easier time to be able to escape if need be, but he loves being mid to have access to the runes and the whole map, so it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do. In loving memory, need to go for an off lane. No, they're actually going to go for the Lich, and I'm wondering if that's going to go mid with... Oh, I'm not actually sure. Both of these teams have very interesting comps, Dom. It's hard to tell what's going to happen at this point, but I'm happy with Lich. He was the hero I opened up with on Dota in August.
Well, it's just a fantastic AoE combination right here. I mean, what you really, really want, I feel, in a Dota team is that you want not only your stun combinations to be beautifully lined up, which we have with the Crystal Maiden and the Earthshaker, but they've already gone for an AoE heavy build, you know, with Crystal Maiden's ulti, Earthshaker's ulti, and now they've got the Lich. So if they time those correctly, if they time, you know, Earthshaker's ulti to come in at the same time Crystal Maiden throws her ulti in, of course Lich there to finish it up, the amount of pure damage they can throw out there in a team battle is going to be ridiculous. And then of course you've got the Phantom Assassin to pick off anyone who either isn't caught into it, anyone who's trying to run away, or of course their biggest threat, which is going to be either Shadow Fiend or the Luna.
Yeah, Luna would have a lot of trouble dealing with the Phantom Assassin unless they're isolated and Eclipse just rails her into the ground. Finally into the game here, ladies and gents. We'll go over both of the teams here representing in loving memory of DCC, who have the Russian flag on the Binary Beast. We have... oh, now they're moving around, making it difficult for me. I might just use the tab. We have WNHS as the Phantom Assassin. We have Monocro as the Lich, who is copying a lot of abuse from his own team in the lobby. We have Sen on the Invoker, 5 as the Earthshaker, and rounding them out, Syzygy, that's an awful name. I'm going to call it Synergy. Synergy on the Crystal Maiden.
Alright, and then on VDT we have, I'm going to say all of these wrong, I can just feel it right now. We've got Tackot, we have the stand-in who doesn't have a name. Poor little stand-in. You're going to be a stranger in the night to us all. We have Miguel, we have Jack, and we have 7k on this Shadow Fiend. I'm looking forward to seeing, everyone knows I'm a support player, I'm looking forward to seeing what Miguel does on the puck, what Jack does on the Visage, because that combination right there, I love it. I just love it, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, very, very dangerous.
Can you just see that right now? Puck, Visage, roaming, ganking together, just brutal.
And we talked about the AoE of the Radiant team, but the Dire, they're not lacking on it either. I mean, Luna late game, she puts out a lot of area damage. Shadow Fiend can explode twice if he gets his ult off and then, you know, dies. And then Puck, no one likes being grouped up against a Puck. As DD Rune going to spawn at the bottom, Puck will help himself to it. And it looks like there is an aggressive tri-lane coming out of the Radiant side here. DCC, we'll call them. What do you think? We talked about the disengage here. But how do you think this is going to go in a all-out brawl, Dom?
It's going to be hard to say. I mean, as we said before, you know, we've got the AoE on the one side, but on VDT, the amount of brute damage they have that they can throw out very quickly. When you think about it, you've got the stun from Vengeful, which does a significant amount of damage as well. You know, you've got...
We might have a gank in the mid lane here. We have the smoke popped. Shadow Fiend moving forward a little bit too aggressively, and the smoke will run out just in time for him to back up. So unsuccessful gank there, and they, like we thought, they will head on up for that aggressive tri-lane. So sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying, you know, you've got Visage, who of course, as we know, is a popular support because of the amount of damage that Visage can throw out there. I mean, it's one of those support players that doesn't need to run away from a fight. He can get right in there with the grunge of all. So you've got the damage coming out from Luna, and then you have these big hitting spells from Vengeful, from Visage, and of course Shadow Fiend, and you've got Puck to hold them all together with the ulti there. So I think that while the AoE side on the Radiant is amazing, I think the ability for the Dire to pin people down and to pick out certain players and just instantly burst them down is going to really play in their favor, because if they get in there and they manage to dismantle any initiation that the Radiant have, they're not going to be able to line up these AoE spells, and if they can't line them up, they're not going to be able to win a team battle.
No, I'd have to agree with you. Once the Grave Chill and the Wave of Terror is available for the Dire, there will be a lot of damage. Sunstrike going to come in. It will hit stand-in right in the face. CM going to take a Lucent Beam there. Will PA fall before the VS? He will indeed. Stand-in even gets the last hit, or the first blood there, but CM going to pick himself one up. That is a kill going the way of the Visage as well. 2 for 1 thus far. Earthshaker sprinting on out of there. And even with the Sunstrike, or in loving memory of DCC at a disadvantage at this stage. VS picking up the first blood, and Visage picking up yet another kill for them.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Getting the kill there on the Phantom Assassin. We were just talking before about how Phantom Assassin, you know, desperately really does need items to be a useful hero going into Southern Mid. Oh, we're going for another fight here. Visage getting knocked down by the Phantom Assassin. Crystal Maiden's in as well. Beautiful work there from the Earthshaker. He's going to survive. Crystal Maiden and Phantom Assassin there to protect him. Takot's going to have to run now. Standing, coming in, everyone's TPing in. They want this Phantom Assassin again. Oh no, what are you doing? WNHS, get out of there, get out of there. Oh, he's going down. Visage getting yet another kill. Crystal Maiden now went to go help. Bad mistake there, getting saved. No, not getting saved by the Earthshaker. Looks like they're going to get 3 kills right here. Double kill on the Visage. Oh, this Visage is going to be meaty. This Visage is going to be, oh, so meaty coming into the mid game already.
Oh, That's
support gank
disastrous for Radiant. Yeah.
That is absolutely disastrous. Not only did they lose the first blood, they've had their Phantom Assassin killed twice now. And even with that kill coming out on WHS.
Not to mention Lich went down at the bottom to puck.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time.
Oh dear, oh dear. As I was trying to say before this epic disaster in the top lane. Phantom Assassin, you can't be ganked early. It's just so detrimental to the team, and the fact that we do have...
Oh, we have the gank in the mid lane coming here. Nice Fisher lands. Puck is going to take down Lich, and Lich will return the favour. Teleport coming in from the Vengeful Spirit. Can they take down the Shadow Fiend? No, they won't. Earthshaker going to grab himself a tango. Now he is running out. Shadow Fiend going to pick that one up with his ridiculous amount of damage. 104. And the trade going on at the bottom lane. These teams did not come here for a farm fest, as Luna going to catch out CM in the mid lane. Will the magic missile come out in time? No, Luna just going to right click that one down the whole time. Phantom Assassin being pinned up top by that Visage that we talked about is becoming oh so big on the experience. And it was looking as though the Radiant team were doing quite well until they just started dropping like flies.
This is my poor Rusty Dota 2 casting can't handle the amount of excitement that's going on in this game. The aggression is incredible. I'm loving the rotation from both sides. Both sides are not hesitating at all to TP, to roam the map. They're not trying to sit back. They're not trying to hide, and I do respect that from both teams. I think the stun combo on the Radiant side is fantastic, but they're just not getting to play it. There's too much damage coming out from the VDT, and they're playing too well together. They're knowing when to kind of pull back a little bit and coax them further into the lane, further away from any safety they have. We've got another gank here coming on the top line. Sunstrike taking out the Luna, but there comes Visage again to bring down Phantom Assassin. We're going to have a fight now between the support players. Who's going to win? It's going to be Visage taking out the Crystal Maiden, and of course... Oh my goodness! I was going to say Earthshaker's going to get the last hit on stand-in, but of course not. Of course not. Not when there's a Visage in lane who already has an amazing 6-1 lead. Not even 6 minutes into the game.
He's going to have his familiars very, very early here. Phantom Assassin going to engage on him. Grave Chill goes off an Elucent Beam as well, and she's forced to disengage here. Fisher going to hit Luna on the side. Sunstrike will not land as the Stifling Dagger comes out, and it does a little bit of damage to her. So the puck 3-1-0 down at the bottom lane. The farm looking very, very low, but 26 to the 13 of Lich, and I mean the name of the game has certainly been the top lane here. The highest farm in the game is 29.
I mean, who even needs a Luna? Let's just give Visage the title of carry. It's just going to do it for everybody. Go support players. Yes.
Go support players.
Oh yes.
He's going to pick himself up a Medallion of Courage here for sure. There he goes. And probably going to work on his Arcane Boots. He's still very rich after picking that one up. And then Vengeful Spirit also reduces armor with the Wave of Terror. So if this PA was having trouble before, it'll be even worse now. Is the farm in the mid lane doing alright? 31 to the Shadow Fiend, or Shadow Demon. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Fiend. The Invoker with his nice mask he's farming okay. He's lending aid with the Sunstrikes, but he's going to have to pressure this Shadow Fiend a little bit more, because he is freely farming away and no one wants to put up with that. We have the swap going from Vengeful Spirit onto CM and stuns her in tower range. Beautifully done there. The creep's going to get the last hit to spread the gold over Luna and the Vengeful Spirit. And the courier flies past. It is a Magician Mama.
Beautiful kill there from Shadow Fiend in mid. Invoker trying to get away, running through the jungle there. But the Shadow Fiend chasing him down. Crystal Maiden TP'd in to try and save him, is now going to get harassed by the Shadow Fiend, but will be saved just using the tower there. Try and keep herself alive.
For a Medallion of Courage used at the top to make the poor... I think it was the... No, it must have been the Earthshaker. He was very, very squishy. And, I mean, he's got 3 armor, minus 3 armor. It's very, very difficult to deal with, and we'll go down 4-17 in the span of a couple of minutes here. CM trying to hold the line in the mid as the bot going to take a lot of damage from Puck. He has picked himself up a Ring of Health. He may be going for a Lincoln's, or just wants to survive the harass of the Lich. At the top lane, is anything going to happen here? Fisher goes out, more of a disengaged type of Fisher. We have the teleport coming in from KQT on the Luna. Shadow Fiend going to bottle himself a double damage rune, And the Familiars striding forward here. Don't think they're going to do much. And what are we thinking about this mid-game, Dom? Do the Radiant have any kind of redeeming factor?
Look, I would never. I'm a big believer in never counting a team out until the very end. But kills like that. Oh, we've got the GG coming out from the Phantom Assassin. They don't even want to play this out. This was epic.
Okay.
Page from BDT early game. This is sort of a little bit what we were talking about during the pick phase with the Phantom Assassin being a hero that needs to have a really exceptional early game, doesn't really have the survivability of a lot of the other carries that they could have picked up, and we just saw, right then in that game, those kind of flaws coming through, and it's just incredible. Like the aggression coming from the Dire side, so beautifully timed, so beautifully pressed the whole way through.
Yeah, stand-in was, it was a great stand-in. I think we're going to have to hand the MVP to the Visage played by Jack. He did it phenomenally. Throwing out 3 soul assumptions in one fight, he got a triple kill. And, he played very well. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. I mean, when you consider that entire top lane right there, I mean, it's not a carry and 2 supports. It's 2 carries and a support. It's a carry, a ganker, and a support, really.
Yeah.
That top lane, and even though the Radiant side did have a lot of stun, what are you going to do with a lot of stun if you don't have the damage to back it up? Do you know what I mean? The best you can do is run away, and that just left their Phantom Assassin too far behind.
I've crowd controlled you, now I'll run. That doesn't lend itself to a good game. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into Game 1. We'll be jumping into Game 2 in just a minute. Hopefully lasts longer than 8.5 minutes as a double damage ring goes off on Shadow Fiend. A shout out to Miggles on the puck for doing a brilliant job at the bot. We didn't get to talk about him too much though. And so thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with Game 2. Head on over to Dom's Twitch channel. It's down in the middle of the screen there on the right. And we'll see you in just a minute.